Hello and welcome to Conscious Living Collective, where transformation is not just a concept but an experience. My name is Tomek. I'm a scientist, teacher, and transformation coach. In this live session, we blend the latest in scientific research, the deep wisdom of mindfulness, and the art of fulfilled living. This is an invitation to have a direct experience, to rewrite your story, and to emerge with a renewed sense of purpose and well being. Very good to be here. Welcome, everyone. Let me welcome all the familiar faces. Hello, Sandy. Hello, Matthew. Hello, Anne. I see you there. Hello, Tosca. And also those of you who are coming here for the first time. Melissa from Salem, Oregon, Patty, Leslie from Ohio. We have a very dominant presence. That's your name, Presence. Hello. Oh, hello, Parvane. Very good to see you here. Certainly, Parvane is not the new to Conscious Living Collective. She's holding the space for all of us. I just want to say that. So is Anne. So is Tosca. Hello, Charmaine. Hello, Judy. Good to see you guys. I think I finally figured out the problem or solved the problem with the sound. So before we jump into the topic of today's Conscious Living Collective, I want to ask you, can you hear me loudly and clearly? And could you hear the music without interruptions? My internet says is excellent. So I'm very happy to hear that because I finally can meditate with you, play you a wonderful background music to enhance the experience, to make it more rich, more fulfilling, which is the purpose of Conscious Living Collective. Okay, today's session is my way of sticking a stick, and correct me, that's not an English expression, sticking stick in a beehive or sticking a stick in an ant hive or stirring the pot. I think that's the way of putting it. I'm trying to stir the pot because I want to ask you today about the state of the world. And I want to meditate on that a bit, but before we meditate, I want to ask you, how do you feel about state of the world today? Are you feeling that, and I apologize for using Star Wars reference, do you feel there is a disturbance in the force on the larger scale? Do you feel that the state of humanity, it's somehow lacking? We have all the technology, we have wealth, we have health. On so many levels, we are so much better off than even 100 years ago, let alone 500 or 1,000 years ago. And at the same time, it seems to me that we are missing the point. What do you think about that? Please raise your hand. Agree, disagree, say your word, say your comment. Because I think we've been tiptoeing around this topic in our meditations ever since we started Conscious Living Collective. And what I mean by that is every time you close your eyes, every time I guide you through your experience, as a result of that, once again, disturbance in the force, to say the least, you experience certain thoughts, certain emotions, certain states that are not of your choosing, I shall say, but are result of a larger collective state of humanity, state of the world. And I think it's important to address that before we jump into meditation and our guided experience that by definition will highlight and amplify many of the collective energies that we experience. And I will ask you during the guidance, have you chosen to feel this way in this very moment? Have you chosen your thoughts? Have you chosen your behaviors? Or are you not, guided by some premeditative software that was given to you before you had a choice or an opportunity to decide whether you wanted it or not? Because I feel on my own, I am under influence of my own conditioned personality that I have not chosen from the get-go. It has been given to me, both through my parents, through my friendships, through my life experience. And now, perhaps for the first time, I have a more say about whether I subscribe to the general state of the world, or am I courageous enough to admit it? This is not the way I choose to live. I do not choose anxiety. I do not choose stress. I do not choose a lot of things that are a result of that conditioned mind. And I see that many of you agree with me, Tosca, Anna. Anna, I feel we are living in an existential horror movie, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I do agree with you. I do agree with you. However, today we are about to change perspective. And the turmoil that you guys describing in your comments is, I will want to show that we have a say about it. We do. But that comes with a condition. And that condition is, since I'm a scientist, I like to put a scientific term on it. That condition requires a scientific, methodical exploration of our mind and recognition that we are not our thoughts, we are not our emotions, we are not the state of the world, or at least we can choose not to be. We are using affirmation from Robin Monroe of Monroe Institute. We are more than physical bodies. We are more than physical matter reality. And we choose to explore beyond that what mind throws at us and what I can only call a collective dream of reality is trying to convince us that this is the only reality we have. I believe that whether it's consciously or intuitively, that is part of the reason why you are joining Conscious Living Collective. I certainly am the one who's joining and decide to facilitate Conscious Living Collective because I know intuitively and more on the conscious level that there's more to it. By it, I mean living in the physical reality, that what we are doing right now, what we see on the screens of our devices, what we hear from politicians, and I'd rather listen to my natural environment and see what nature tries to tell me. And you know what nature tried to tell me over the past couple of days? I'm here in the Sunshine Coast, Australia. This is what, fourth day of spring, and we had temperatures above 35 degrees. I say that nature tells me, listen, it's winter and it's 35 degrees. By the time we come to summer, I think it will be time to check out. Nature tells us there is imbalance. There's something fundamentally out of tune with the natural environment that we are part of, and we influencing it by the way we live. Yeah, Manchi, a lack of morals and ethics. A very good point. So, how do you feel about that introduction to our meditation? I can imagine that some of you may think, well, that does not prepare me well into being calm and being at ease and being relaxed in the state of meditation. But I want to tell you right here at the start, our today's experience is not about trying to sweep under the carpet all the challenges that we are facing. It's about carefully, consciously, scientifically look at them and see what they are and how they influence my daily living. And perhaps from the perspective of awareness, is there anything that can be done about it? But only when you honestly and carefully look at them first. Because in order, they say that 90% of solving the problem or challenge is to identify it. So today's session is about calmly, carefully, honestly, and with courage identifying what we are facing. And what you will be facing, very likely, is your mind. Your conditioned mind that is a result of living in the environment that we are in. And rather than going into the stress mode, being anxious about it, we will say, okay, I am not my mind. Let me look at my mind from the perspective of awareness that we all are, and see if, or feel, perceive, and experience if that will make a difference to you. If that will make a difference to your perception of the world. Because part, and again, I cannot emphasize it strongly enough, the part of the challenge that we are facing is that we are completely and utterly identified with our mind and with our thoughts on a daily basis. And then we are surprised that emotions that arise in our body, you will feel, I will encourage you to feel into your body as well, are those of tension, ruggedness, discomfort, and so on and so forth. Okay. So, as I said, since I fixed the problem with sound by simply upgrading my browser or updating my browser, it was simple enough. At least that's what I think it has happened. I can play you a wonderful background music to support us on our journey. The major support on this journey is all of us here. I'll look at you right in front of me. I will not name all of you because I don't want to miss anyone. But if you are here and listening, you are important to this process. You are the active ingredient that will co-create this experience and you being a part of it. So please do take responsibility for your contribution. And your contribution being here is positive, and understand and be aware that you are part of it. So, okay, we will be supported by Pablo Arellano, our own inside time and musician, with his Mystic Journey. I think you've heard this one before, but if you didn't, I'm gonna type it in to give credit to Pablo and his wonderful creation. Yeah, Kate, I could imagine you might, because Pablo, it's a beautiful creator. Certainly his creations do not come from the level of the mind that is anxious and subscribes to everything that happens in the world. Certainly music is one of those ways to take us beyond the level of our mind. So there you go. I will switch to meditation screen so we can feel a difference. Now start playing the music. You should be able to hear the music already. For the best experience of the music, I encourage you to wear headphones or earbuds of a sort. But even without them, you should be able to hear it. So here we are, embarking upon a journey. And we begin with our eyes open. We begin this journey with our eyes open because eyes are the primary source of information about the world around us. We receive around 80% of all the information around the physical world through our sight. And we shall not be afraid of facing the reality the way it is. Part of the preparation for any journey is to be ready to face obstacles and challenges, understanding they are a part of the process that is fundamental to our growth, to our evolution, and quite frankly, to our enjoyment. So look around you and see if there's anything in your immediate environment that may get in the way of this conscious exploration. Are you feeling safe in this very moment? Are you feeling supported? Do you feel that you are ready to embark upon a journey? And if this is so, allow your eyes to close and recognize that your awareness immediately focuses on the inner environment of your body. There may be sensations in various parts of your body. There may be sound of the music. But your awareness is no longer connected directly with the physical world around you. Your physical world right now is being described by the sensations within your body. In one sense, your universe shrinks. In the other sense, you have an opportunity to explore that what is beyond our habitual state of mind. Normally your mind processes all the visual stimuli that comes to you without even being aware of it. But now, being deprived of the stimuli, your mind will produce thoughts, description of the inner state. You may find yourself very fluidly switching into describing the reality, hearing the dialogue that comes from your head that may be mistaken by the perception and awareness itself. But it's simply a product of your conditioned mind, and as such has limited scope. It will only see, quote unquote, what has happened in the past and perhaps project it as a future result, but it is not of this very moment. So if thinking and inner dialogue is your experience right now, ask yourself, who have chosen to have this dialogue? Where does this dialogue come from? And with these questions, drop back into the level of your sensations and ask, who is perceiver and experiencer of these inner sensations? If a thought appears once again, ask yourself, who is doing the thinking? Where is the doer located? Can you experience it? The awareness itself, that is the active ingredient. Awareness being aware of itself. You may notice that when you ask these questions, there's a sense of vitality waking up. Something that you may not be familiar with. It is possible that your mind will produce thoughts that will try to convince you this is not pleasant, unfamiliar, unknown, scary. And in this case, recognize those thoughts, do not try to push them away, but simply ask, who has chosen to have those thoughts? Where are the thoughts coming from? Where they originate? Awareness is already fulfilled. Awareness does not require description nor thought process. Awareness is the one that experiences thoughts, emotions, bodily sensations, and the world at large. Awareness that is you, is at the root of all experience, but it is not of experience. Returning to the awareness itself gives a perspective on the state of the reality as is. Standing outside of the experience allows to gain a fresh perspective in which we are no longer identified with the experience, thoughts, emotions, feelings, but we are observing it, witnessing it, happening in front of the eyes of awareness, in front of the witness and perceiver. And as you take this new vantage point, as you embrace this new perspective, you may find that you are at peace. Or more precisely, peace becomes part of your experience. You are no longer entangled with thoughts, bodily sensations, emotions. But you choose to be here now as all of the above happen in your awareness. Clarity arises. Resistance disappears. Vitality spontaneously comes and becomes part of the experience. And now, over the next few moments, I invite you to observe the movement of awareness. Be open to where it goes and follow it, regardless of its direction. I am here by your side to hold the space as you safely explore your own new perspective, your own new point of existence. And now, consciously shift your awareness to your physical senses. Recognize that physical senses are lenses through which you can explore the physical world, but are not you per se. You are not your vision, you are not your hearing, you are not your taste, you are not your smell, you are not your touch. But these are tools that you use to explore physical reality. Move your awareness into your sight. What you perceive, even through your closed eyelids. Are you the vision? Are you the brighter and darker spots that you perceive? Now hear the music. Hear the sound of my voice from the perspective of awareness that you are. And decide for yourself, are you the hearing? Are you the music that comes to awareness through the device that is in front of you? Now shift to your taste. And quite possibly, you will become aware of your tongue that contains the receptors that translate the external environment into the language of taste. But are you your taste? Do the same with your smell. Begin being aware of the warm air that comes into your nostrils, bringing molecules that will connect with the receptors in your nose. Are you these receptors? Are you the fragrance that your brain translates into smell? And finally, shift your awareness into the sense of touch. Where does your awareness go? Perhaps your hands resting in your lap, perhaps your feet on the floor. Most likely you become aware of sensations that are a result of interactions of your skin with the external environment. But are you any of those? Or are you the experiencer that use it as a tool of the exploration of the physical world that surrounds you? Finally, recognize that you are able to move your body. Start slowly by wiggling your toes. Moving your fingers with a new sense of curiosity, how your awareness has ability to manipulate matter, to direct the movement of your physical body. How extraordinary. And to conclude this process of exploration, take one conscious breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And in your own time, open your eyes. And welcome back. Okay, we are back fully in our physical senses. Although recognize that once again the vision becomes the dominant sense, the dominant lens through which you perceive the reality. Hello, Joan. I'm glad you like the background music. I love it too. It's one of my favorites. And it has such an apt title, Mystical Journey. Because my experience of this is that life is indeed a mystical journey. However, when we come from the level of our mind, it may not seem this way. So I want to ask you right here and right now, or maybe to continue the experiment. When you're in your awareness, does the world look the same to you? And you can do it right now from the perspective of awareness, not from the perspective of your mind, of your thinking mind. Look at the world around you. Can you feel the shift? And please feel free to describe in your own words, maybe put it in the comment section if you will. Again, translate the experience into the language of words, which we know are very limiting. If you find yourself not being able to put the experience into words, that's great. And I feel that this guidance was very successful and very transformative, because this is part of the problem that we experience, that we want to translate everything into words, into something tangible, into goals that we can achieve, into to-do list that we can tick off. And we, by doing so, we're missing the point, because your mind is just one level of reality from which you cannot solve all the problems. In order to experience life fully, you have to acknowledge and have a direct experience of the awareness itself. And from the level of awareness, you have choice and ability of transform your mind. You cannot do it. You cannot transform your mind from the level of the mind. I use that metaphor the same way a surgeon cannot perform surgery on himself or herself. You have to step aside of your mind, in this case, or physical body, in the case of a surgeon, in order to operate, to transform it, to heal it, if you will. Laura, I feel space and smile. Jamie, yes, can feel the shift. Sandy, beautiful. Z, indeed. Sandy experienced a sense of peace. Resting in awareness outside of our thinking mind as a fruit and result is the sense of peace. And again, sense of peace is already a translation of the experience that you just had, but it's not experience itself. You see how I'm sure that all of you have your favorite poem or favorite piece of literature, and skillful authors always trying to direct us beyond the words. As a matter of fact, the words that we are hearing, if we only focus on the direct content of them, we might be missing the point. And so we're doing here, even though I ask you to translate your experience into words, you know that the words that you type in on the screen is not the experience itself. What is more fundamental and more primal is the words that describe the experience or experience itself. Are you the story that comes from your mind? Or are you something else? What is more fundamental? Parvane, my mind went on a long journey of memories that I became aware of everyone here, and it felt so safe and relaxed. And thank you so much for sharing this. This is once again the path of direct experience and the path of awareness I have chosen to take you on today. And I'm very glad you have joined me. That's what I mean by conscious living. It's a conscious being aware of levels of existence, both the level of the mind, level of the sensations of your body, level of your physical senses, and fundamental level of awareness. And with that new perspective, you have a more choice, so to speak. Again, speaking from the level of the mind. I know I recognize the hypocrisy of it because I'm saying words. That's the only way for me to communicate with you. Unless you are, and I hope you do, perceive what I feel, what I am right now, that may come to you in that sense, deeper sense. That's what you feel when you, I don't know, are in the presence of a good friend that accepts you for who you are and that supports you. I want is not the right word. I am interacting with you through that sense as well. But what comes across between my mind and your mind are the words. But this is just one level. So again, coming back to exploring, recognizing first, and then exploring different avenues through which, different lenses, if you will, to explore the reality around us. And once again, ask yourself the question that we came into this session. What do you think, again, I used it very consciously, about the state of the world right now? What is the healthy response to the state of the world right now? Is it thinking about it, or is it witnessing it from the level of your awareness that you are and not being identified with it? What is the obstacle here? Are we trying to think the world over and think it into being better? Or are we trying to simply experience what already there is, the goodness that already exists? If your awareness will reside within your thoughts, it is very likely your body will feel tension, will feel rush of stress hormones on the physiological level that your brain will translate back again into anxiety, stress, sadness, and all those emotions that we are on the level of mind familiar with. But now I ask you, what is the experience of those emotions and thoughts at the level of the body? And if you recognize that, you may be able to develop more healthy approach to the world around you. That's my goal, so to speak, with me, myself personally. But that's something that I try to communicate with you and see, or see if you're on the same page. And I know we are, because otherwise you would not be here. Carly, that's so kind of you. Carly says, Tomek, you've been holding space for me for 5 years. Thank you so much. You've changed my breathing technique in life. You're my spiritual tuning fork. I love that. I can put that into my, I'm still struggling with describing what I really do. But if I'm a spiritual tuning fork that people can resonate with, that's perhaps the best job description, I use air quotes here, I've ever received. Thank you so much, Carly. Yeah, Sandy, words feel inadequate. Tosca, sense of relief. Because that's what changing perspective into awareness does to us. By the way, I want to acknowledge Katie for her kind donation. Even though I no longer ask people for any financial contribution, I still appreciate it. Honestly, I don't care that much about it anymore through Insight Timer. Um, my this part of my life it's fulfilled in hundredfold through different avenues that flew that are derived from the interaction with you. So much has changed in my life because of me being able to communicate with you, be with you, interact with you, and the financial reward is it's just a layer of it, and I know it's not the significant one. Every time my brain, again, on the level of the mind, it seems important, but on the level of awareness, it seems very insignificant. And I think I want to say that to you. You're paying me with your attention. I love the English way of expressing it. To pay attention to something or to someone. You're investing in me by being here and lending me your ear. And this is by far the greatest investment from you and me I can receive. So thank you so much for that. Tuning fork is amazing. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. Yeah, Parvane. In order to stay creative, I feel I do need to turn off the news of the world sometime. Yeah, the news that we hear are the news that are directed to engage our mind in the way that creates negative emotions, because news outlets and all media, they figured out a long time ago that in order to stimulate your brain, it's much easier to create you're much more receptive towards the negative stimulation than the positive stimulation. If I want to stimulate your brain in a positive way, this will last on a very short while, and most likely you get disengaged. If I stimulate your brain in a negative way, you stay much longer. That's what, again, social media figured out a long time ago. They harvest our attention in a way that suits them and doesn't suit you. In case you haven't figured out itself, so they offer you entertainment that you perceive. I receive something. No, they harvest your attention. They get the most important resource at your disposal, your attention. In the same way, I'm acknowledging right now, this is what I'm receiving from you. I'm receiving your attention, the greatest gift you have to offer. And I'm grateful for it. I'm very grateful for it. But I'm very open about my what is happening here. And I want you to be aware of it. And I want this to be your conscious decision to be here and to offer that attention. Thank you, Anne. It's my pleasure. And I mean it. It is really my pleasure. I have so much fun right now being with you here, interacting with you, reading your comments. Stacy, are you able to express your definition of awareness with your words? Certainly. I've been thinking about the worldly expression of awareness. And for me, on the level of the brain, awareness is the experiencer of everything, or all the levels. To be aware of the awareness, something that one of my meditations, Wheel of Awareness by Siegel. Jeez, I forgot his first name. That's what it points towards, the spoke of awareness reaching out to the wheel of awareness, probing, but ultimately coming back to the awareness itself. So, awareness is the experiencer, is the primary experiencer of everything. experiences of your mind, experiences of your thoughts, experiences of your emotions, feelings, all the physical senses. But to be aware of the awareness itself, that's what I'm here for. And that, yeah, Siegel. Yeah, thank you, Laura. And even though I can point my finger like the statue, point finger towards something. And if you stare at the finger, if you stare at my words, if you listen to my words, it doesn't mean that you can experience the awareness itself. To experience awareness itself is for you and you only, Stacy, to bring it back. This what I try. That's what my goal was with this practice, to bring you, to help you experience the awareness itself. And that's what I do working with my clients. I am ultimately a tuning fork next to which my clients can discover in a safe environment the awareness that they are and look at all the challenges that come from the level of the mind that they experience in a way that is transformative. Allow them to face the challenges from the level of awareness that is already courageous, already fulfilled. And these one-on-one sessions, as I call them, it's very much the best I can offer. There's no deeper level of interaction with me than through one-on-one. You can interact with me through Conscious Living Collective. You can interact with me via Zoom classes on my Patreon program. You can interact with me by listening to my guided meditations, where part of my consciousness is captured in those words. And I know so many of you have a positive experience with that. But by far, the most direct way of interacting with the consciousness I am, with the tuning fork that I want to be, is by one-on-one. Monica, when you give us guidance, I'm guessing for sure, both grown every day, you and we, and you have new things to share. Thanks for beautiful synergy. Yeah, thank you, Monica. It's my pleasure. So many comments. Thank you so much for that interaction. Laura, you were my first teacher on IT with 5 minutes of mindfulness in 2020. That's always a privilege. If I'm the first point of contact on Insight Timer, that's so good. Thank you. I'm very very happy. Thank you, Carly. I appreciate your support. So, for those of you who wish to continue on the path of exploration, there are many different ways. You can contact me through Insight Timer. Always, you can send me an email. If you go to my profile on Insight Timer, you can follow me there. You can turn the notifications on. There's also a link to my website through which you can contact me and interact with me. You can send me direct message through Insight Timer, many different ways. And if that's what you want, I'm sure you're going to find a way. So for now, I want to sincerely thank you once again for your attention, for being here. I say with confidence that we created something special today, something really one of a kind. And I'm very much looking forward to continuing this journey. It's not just the one episode, it's Conscious Living Collective weekly sessions. And I will leave you with Mystic Journey, Pablo Arellano. Have a wonderful day, pleasant night, wherever you are. And until next time.